Buenos dias. Good morning, Alex, and happy Monday. So today we are doing our past life reading where we're taking a look at time frames, places, and personality traits from the past. And some of these may make sense and some of them may not, all right? But this is a cool reading that you could watch throughout the years and see if it's making any sense, if there's any synchronicity there, right? So let's go ahead and get started. So on the table, as usual, I have my candles, we have our crystals, and today we're just working with this deck right here, which is all meant about past lifetimes, right? So we're focusing on that. So we tend to pull out 8 cards for this reading, and they do have a lot of information, so I would maybe say watch it more than once, maybe take notes if you'd like, right? So let's go ahead and begin. So each card is very different. This is not the kind of reading where we usually see synchronicity, as we're just taking a look at those Akashic records and basically anything that is showing us, based on personality traits and things like that. So let's go ahead and begin. Now, the first card that we see is known as the Chinese bear. It says knowledge is perfect and nothing can be added. So here is somewhere in ancient China, maybe the Luoyang region, around 206 BC to 220 AD. Now here your ruling planets are Uranus and Mercury, right? And it's all about your critical mind. Here in this lifetime, you were very meticulous, very critical, and very exacting. You had a love of books and natural sciences. You were intensely self-critical to the point that you could be self-defeating. Now your mind had a tremendous capacity to remember details, names, and numbers, and your personality was very sensitive and rather reserved. Now here we see someone who was very reserved. You did enjoy being on your own more than around other people, but you were very criticizing of yourself, right? What we see with those ruling planets of Uranus and Mercury, it's like this thing of getting it done, but you had your own way of getting things done. So sometimes you could be self-defeating. Sometimes it was almost like you had a lot of expectations placed on yourself and you didn't give yourself the opportunity too much to make mistakes. We see the energy of a scholar, right? And the energy of someone who is quite very serious. It's almost like you were on a mission in this lifetime for knowledge, right? And to prove things and to really, really work with facts. Now, when we take a look at the next lifetime, you see the energy of the Aboriginal bark painting. Now, this was somewhere in Amhin Land, Australia, somewhere around 12,000 BC, right? So here we see your ruling planet as the moon. Now, here you had a lot of knowledge that were gained through dreams, and you had this keen interest in the hidden messages of dreams, a lot of psychic abilities, and they were highly advanced. You did have a lot of out-of-body experiences, and lucid dreams were very common for you. Now, here you had a tendency to drift into the past where memories were either sentimental or sad, and you will not force an issue. Here you were very interested in the archaeology, anthropology, metaphysics, and history, right? So here we see kind of like the opposite of here. Here we saw a lifetime of a lot of knowledge and facts, where here it was energy that drove you, right? Here your psychic abilities, your intuition took first place, right? So what we see here is you were highly advanced, you had a lot of out-of-body experiences, and you had a very, very deep connection with the energy of the earth. So not only the earth, but maybe working with earth healings, working with the energy of crystals, working with the energy of herbs. Now in the next lifetime, we see the Yugoslavian earth goddess, which is the energy of worldwide around 400 BC. And here we see your moon, your Venus, and Saturn as your ruling planet. And here was the wisdom that was gained through many lifetimes. Now here you had a love of myth, legend, and poetry. Now your personality was courageous and self-sacrificing, with the ability to feel the spirit in all natural phenomena. Now many passages in life and much wisdom were gained through cycles of death and rebirth, right? And you were a survivor with an ability to overcome against all odds. You were very resilient, tenacious, and you had a lot of your feminine instincts. So when we see this, another intuitive life, right? What we see here is very connected to myth, to legend, to poetry. You were very courageous. You would just all about self-sacrificing, and here we see that healer's energy, right? Because you were able to feel spirit in all form, right? You gained a lot of your wisdom from endings that led to new beginnings. So this was a lifetime of a lot of changes, and these changes would probably happen really fast. but you were very connected to them. It was like you were able to see the lesson instead of the chaos. Right here, we see the Hawaiian Pele goddess, which has somewhere to do, of course, in the Hawaiian Islands, somewhere around 100 AD. Here, your ruling planets were Venus and Mars, and you had the necessary tension involved in creation, right? So here you were very genial, very warm, and very emotional. You had a larger than life character, accepting of all personalities, no matter how difficult. Here you were very strange or conflicted, or had a lot of strange or conflicting feelings toward loved ones, and the inner life was complex and uncentered. There was a lot of maternal energy and nurturing energy within yourself, but you found solace and peace in water-oriented activities or around water, right? You were very insecure over relationships, and your eyes had a dreamy appearance. It did inspire others, and you were very flexible in thought. You had the special attraction to flora and fauna, right? And your aesthetic tastes were very natural and organic. Now, here was a life that I felt like you were trying to kind of break anything that your family did. You wanted to be different. It's almost like you wanted to just be in the forest. You wanted to be around bodies of water. So I feel like this lifetime was maybe when they were trying to make little villages and people were living together. It's almost like you had a strange and conflicting connection with your family itself. Now here, we see the energy of the Celtic mirror or the Celtic mirror, right? Which is Ireland, England, and Scotland around 600 BC to 500 AD. Here, your ruling planet was Pluto, and this was all about your psychic power. Now, in this lifetime, you were very mysterious, compelling, and magnetic. There has been many endings and beginnings throughout this life. Attraction to the spirit world or different forms of arcane knowledge. You had this unique understanding of death, birth, and other life cycles. Now, the idea of ghosts and spirits was actually intriguing for you. And every few years, there was this compelling need to transform the self into something entirely new, right? So here we see the energy of mediumship. Since you were a child, you were very connected to spirits. So for you, it was quite very intriguing, right? For you, it was all about the mystery of the energy, right? And there was so many endings and new beginnings, but you were attracted to this, right? You had this imagination that was amazing, right? And this was almost like a lifetime where you were connected to that Kundalini energy, because we see every 7 years or so there was a big change that would happen, right? So there was always a big change, and you were all about changes. You were not afraid in this lifetime of changes whatsoever, which is quite amazing to see the different lifetimes, right? Because they're all so different from each other. Now, when we take a look at the next card, what we see here is a card where meditation had a lot to do with this lifetime. We see the Hindu Shiva, right? And this is somewhere in India around 300 to 1300 AD. And here your ruling planets were Mars and Venus, right? So you had the ability to integrate opposites. Now, in this lifetime, you were very objective, very spiritual, and very fair. Your personality was selfless and gentle. You had many untapped talents, and you had a deep understanding of cause and effect. You withheld judgment and intuitively understood spiritual principles. Now, you felt a strong need to merge with something higher. Meditation was very big in this one. Moments of silence were very big, right? You were very, very big in spirituality and energy. Now, here you were very selfless, which meant that you might have struggled with setting boundaries, because it was almost like you were always there to be of help. If somebody needed help, you were the person who would instantly jump in it. So we see a lot of kind of struggling when it came to resting, but meditation was your way of regenerating your energy, right? Of really keeping everything in balance. Now, our last card is the Jukun Akuma mask, right? Which is known as the Child of the Moon, somewhere in Nigeria, Africa, around 1250 AD, right? And here your ruling planet again was the moon, and you had the imagination at subconscious mind, right? And here it was how you were very dreamy and very passive with a tendency to cling to past traditions. Your appearance was much younger than your biological age here, and you could be at once parental and childlike. You were extremely intuitive, extremely psychic, and extremely aloof. Now, you had this energy that was quite very different, which did bring up a lot of gossip and a lot of attention from other people, but in this lifetime it was almost like you didn't care. You were like on this mission to get to know energy, and you were just very in tune with your feminine side. Right here we see a tribal life, so a life with a lot of tribal energy, a life where you kind of just put it to yourself to help other people heal, right? But the beautiful thing about this lifetime is that you didn't really care what other people thought about you. And it just brings this energy of like, there was a lot of freedom due to that. So now that we're done with our past life, I do like to end the reading with bringing a little bit of guidance for the moment. So for the moment right now, you're being told to slow down, right? And to sustain your energy. This is a time to tend to your garden, right? This is a time that says, have you been carrying other people's burdens? Are you doing too much for other people? This is a time to bring the energy to yourself, set some boundaries, and really take care of you. You are very energy sensitive in this lifetime, so you will feel a lot of exhaustion that a lot of times you can actually confuse with physical exhaustion, but it's not a physical thing, it's an energy thing. So make sure that you are cleansing that energy and that you're taking time to regenerate yourself. The sun here is all about bringing things in your life that you find enjoyment, things that bring joy into your life. This is really connecting in alignment and aligning with your life force, right? Knowing that there is success around you and knowing that there is success that's coming to you. So this is using the energy of vitality and bringing more play, not taking everything so seriously. Your last card is the Mother Rose, which is returning to yourself. It's time to really work with that compassion and nurture that you need in your life, especially if you feel like you've been doing so much for others and not enough for yourself. So hopefully this made sense to you. I can't wait to hear from you. If you decide to write back, you don't have to, right? So I hope that you have a great rest of your week, and blessed be. Bye-bye.